Since St. Patrick's Day is coming up, I figured let's make some corned beef. But two things. Since the Instant Pot has been hot on this channel right now, I'm going to make it in the Instant Pot and try to save myself a few hours. I'm also going to try to elevate it. I'm sick of boring braised, not even braised, it's basically boiled. Boiled corned beef with mushy cabbage and mushy potatoes. So first of all, we're getting rid of the cabbage. Nobody likes cabbage. Cabbage shouldn't be served with good, tasty, salty meat. Should just be on a bed of potatoes. So we're going to do some mashed potatoes. And then I think we're going to do some glazed carrots. But to start, you need corned beef. So this is about a 2.5 pound corned beef right here. It comes with a little seasoning packet inside of it. It's not too fatty, but there is enough fat. And then we got our good friend, the Instant Pot. So we're going to put these together. We're going to see what we can do. I'm going to prep everything else while this is cooking in the Instant Pot, which is the great part about this. It's going to cook for about 70 minutes, so you have time to do everything else. So let's get started. Let's get the meat in the Instant Pot, and then we'll take it from there. So to start, we're going to take this brisket corned beef out of the bag. There's a lot of juice in there, the brine. Also, make sure you get that little seasoning packet. Mine stuck to the meat and then was buried on the cutting board, so don't forget about that. We're going to pat this dry and then let it sit out for another minute or two while we prep some onions and a little bit of garlic, which is what I'm going to throw into the Instant Pot with this corned beef as it cooks. There will be one other ingredient you'll see in a second, but that's really all the prep work we need to do here. I'm going to lightly salt each side, but I'm going to put a good amount of pepper on the top. It's brine, so it's inherently salty on its own, so you don't need a ton of salt. But now to throw it into the Instant Pot, we're going to throw some onions right on the bottom. We're going to add in the garlic, the whole seasoning pack, and then we're going to put that little trivet in, a few more onions. This will keep the meat off the bottom and keep it from burning, and then throw that whole corned beef in. It's going to shrink, so if it's a little tight, that's totally fine. This was the full 2.5 pound corned beef. And then I'm going to fill this up with 12 ounces of a dark beer. We're going to close it. You can use Guinness, whatever you want. I like a nice Yingling, a little lighter, but still dark. And we're going to let this now run for 70 minutes. If you want it to be more cooked, you can go up to 90, but that should yield a very good cook. While that's going, we can do everything else now. We're going to cut up some carrots because I'm going to serve this with a nice glazed carrot. We're going to try to make these look fairly nice, so I bought these kind of like heirloom, larger individual carrots, not baby carrots. Try to cut a bunch of pieces of similar size. That way they'll cook at the same speed, the same temperature, and be the same doneness. Once that's done, we can move those out of the way, and we can start on our potatoes. We're just going to peel these. We're going to chop them up into nice even-sized pieces, and these are going to go into a pot of cold water. We're going to salt that cold water heavily, and then we're going to bring it up to temperature. You don't want to put the potatoes into hot water right off the bat. You want to start these in cold water, and you want to try to make the cuts as uniform as possible so these potatoes also will cook at the same amount of time. You don't want to go to mash these and they're still completely hard. So get them in, that heat on high, and we're going to salt this quite heavily. We're going to let these cook for about 15 or 20 minutes or until a fork slides into them super easily. And at that point, you'll know they're done, and we're going to pull them out, drain them. I'm going to throw them into another bowl here so we can use this same saucier to make the mashed potatoes. But to get my fluffy, perfect mashed potatoes, I like to run them through a ricer, then through a little sieve here. This will just really take out any clumps, and it will make them so perfectly smooth. You don't need to do this. You could just mash them with a masher. You could use just the ricer, whatever you'd like to do. And now I have equal parts milk and cream. This is about 1.5 cups of total, and we're going to slowly start to add that. I've had it just heating, staying warm on the side, and just mash these around until you get the consistency you're looking for. I'm going to add in a tablespoon or two of butter, a little more of that milk cream mixture, and if you want to stop at this part, that's totally fine. Try to not make a mess like I just did. Also, season these quite heavily. I'm just going to use salt. I don't need any pepper in here, but that's what we're looking for. They are so soft and silky that they're almost puree-like. Give it a taste, see if it needs more seasoning. It did. And then I'm going to give it one last stir. I'm going to throw the lid on, and I'm going to throw it into my oven, which I preheated to 200 degrees, and these can just sit there until the rest of your meals are ready. Now, the Instant Pot has finished cooking. It's in the steam release part, so we are going to start the carrots. This is the recipe from Adam Biat. I'll tag that down below, but it's a little bit of butter, a little bit of sugar. You cover the carrots about halfway in water. You cover this in a nice little cartouche right now, and you let these just sit on medium-high heat for 10-15 minutes. It will reduce into a beautiful sauce. You'll be good to go. As that's also happening, I make a quick little glaze here for the corned beef. It's a little bit of honey, a little bit of mustard, and there we have that corned beef. I took it out. I forgot to film that, so apologies, but all I did was open it and grab it. This is exactly how it looked. It's so tender right off the bat. All we did was glaze it now with this honey and mustard mixture, and I'm going to throw it under the broiler for about 15 minutes, and that is what we're looking at. It's caramelized, it's crisp, it's exactly how it should be looking, and it is fantastic. So here we are. It's been just about an hour and a half. It had a 15-minute natural release in there. I pulled it out, I threw it on the tray, I broiled it with that sauce, and now you can see it has a nice little bit of crust on the top. Nothing too major. We didn't want to burn it. We don't want to steal those flavors away, but it looks absolutely beautiful. I'm going to let this rest for 5-10 minutes. Also, while we're at it, here are those carrots with that beautiful glaze. You can see it's really thickened up. They have this beautiful sheen to them, so those are ready to go whenever. So I'm just going to let this continue resting for a couple minutes, and then we're going to plate this up. We're going to dive into it. I stole a little corner of it before I glazed it, and it was absolutely delicious. When it came time to cut this, I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted to do it, so I just kind of cut it down the middle lengthwise. Look at how beautiful and moist that is on the inside. Perfect. And now I'm cutting it into kind of 1 or 2 inch slices across the grain. This will make it easier to eat. It is very hot, so I have 2 gloves on holding that meat as I cut it because it is still very warm. But I'm just trying to cut this into manageable size pieces, and that's all you need to do at this point. Just cut it through nicely. You can see this half here is much fattier than the other half, so you can kind of parse out who wants what. But now we're going to plate this up. I'm going to throw in some mashed potatoes. I'm going to get these carrots out right next to them. A little bit of that glaze is going to come with it, which is fantastic. That'll just mix into everything. Top it with a little more of that. And then just lay that corned beef right on top of your mashed potatoes. If you want to do any sauce, you can. I'm just going to do some mustard on the sides, but add anything you want to this that you really like. All right, so here we are, the final version. I did a whole take of this without recording, so you can see there's a bite missing. But trust me, I'll give you the full review again. The carrots are absolutely delicious. They're sweet, they're tender. The mashed potatoes are as great as they always are. And the thing I like about the corned beef is that it is not fall apart. You do need a knife to cut this. You can see a fork kind of gets through it, but it still has body to it. It's not corned beef hash. If that's what you're looking for, you want it to just fall apart. Cook this for another 10 minutes in the Instant Pot, maybe go to 90 minutes. That's just delicious though. It's everything I wanted this to be. I do feel like this is elevated. Does not need cabbage. All I'm going to do is add a little mustard to this dish. Just add a little bit of mustard, and then you're good to go. So this is a much better version of a St. Patrick's Day feast that your friends will love, your family will love, and you should also love. So give this a try. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time.